reliable, least reliable, least competent, or youngest young one. I hung out with my father. Oh, thank God for my father. He treated and hung out with my mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not a good thinker.
Yeah, but you hung out with your dad.
Right.
And what did you do with him when you were hanging out?
Anything.
Whatever you felt like?
Whatever he had doing was whatever I had to do. Don't know how to spell anymore, but I got the healthiest, most interesting, most challenging exposure while Vi and Cam followed my gloomy mother around house cleaning. Yeah, I used to go out with my father up to the mountains to visit people and hang out and come back. We all three helped cook and wait on tables in the summer, and it wasn't a bad life. Although very little time to play with our classmates who lived 1 mile or much farther away. We did not miss them. My mother was, are you interested in this?
I am, I'm listening.
My mother was gloomy, my father was outgoing and took me around on all his errands, so I got a much more interesting social education than my sisters did from my mother, martyred mother.
My martyred mother?
Who, yeah.
My martyred mother.
Who all her life, the rest of it, mourned the death of her firstborn son, only male child. I was born after he died, but he was the hero, you know, and he got burned or in some it's a horrible thing. He was the firstborn only male child, our household saint in an almost life, I can't read anymore, seized photograph to remember as always. Then, that we could never measure up. Can you read what I'm reading? I'm such a stumbler nowadays. I used to be a much better reader.
Hey, you're doing great.
At least not to my mother's standards. My father true in keeping, always let me follow him around everywhere, while my sisters stayed home and emptied the piss pots left under the beds of the summer guests.
The piss pots. Well, you didn't have to do that, fortunately.
Thank goodness. I got the best of it, for which I am still most grateful. I was, that is, brought up within limits with interruptions in a man's world.
Mm-hmm.
It made a big difference between my mother, who was very female and not very, well, she was a hard worker, but she was not the same as my father, who was a cheerful person who took me on because I was the young one. I was, that is, brought up within limits and without interruption in a man's world. See, that was good. I understood that. I mourn him still, if not often enough. See, we read that part. My mother was gloomy, my father was outgoing. See, what else do I have here? Oh, for goodness sake, nice piece of land like that. Did I read the part about after high school? Parents split. The government had foreclosed on our 160-acre farm, boarding house, hotel on Swartzwood Lake. Actually, we owned the swamp across the road and an acre or more of beach on the
Come in.
on the lake between the boarding house and the
Gloria.
lake. Yo,
Come on in.
I just got her clothes back.
Oh, okay.
where,
Right.
where do you get all that stuff from?
Huh.
I never see it go out, but I come it back by the ton.
What a deal.
That's
They
wonderful.
might, I might have some of my clothes in there too. It's
Oh,
possible.
good.
It's
Great.
possible. I'm not sure.
Terrific.
You know,
That's
I would like to talk to the desk and have them prepare Gloria's meds for the day. Is
Okay.
there? I tried pushing the thing on the phone, but I couldn't figure out how to do it.
I'll do it.
Just tell her that we're gonna go out. Tell them we're gonna go out, and we'd like to take her, you know, the meds that she takes through the day.
The whole day?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Except
just
maybe
call
the
them.
one. Yeah, for the whole day, even the nighttime one too,
Okay.
because we may be going out for dinner and so on. Okay.
Okay.
So they could just have it down at the desk maybe when we go out, or someone could bring them here. Either.
It's 10 o'clock. It's almost 10 o'clock now.
Well, that's good. It's almost time for.
So when are we going to go?
But we're gonna just wait until we get all your pills and everything, and then
Oh,
we're gonna go
okay.
out and
All right.
we'll go to the dollar store, and
Oh,
then
you-
we'll go to.
Live it up. You got money? We got money on?
Yeah, we got money.
You
Yeah.
sure?
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Hey, you remember this?
Do you
Who's
want
that
it
guy?
ready now?
You know
Yes.
that guy?
Oh, please.
Okay.
As soon as. Is
that you?
That's
Happy
not.
Josie?
I don't think that's me.
What about you? Is this you?
Josie?
I'm not sure who that
Who are
is.
all these who's?
But this is Terry.
Which one is Terry?
That's Terry.
Oh, yeah.
That's me down there.
Really?
So let me zoom in on the camera so you can see.
Right, I know. I see.
Whoa, whoa.
Where? Hey.
And let's see who else. That's also me over there
With that fancy body?
with the fancy body. Yes,
Wow,
that's me looking
show
like
her, show her.
looking like Mr. This was one of my art shows a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
This is when I used to have a fancy body. Interesting, huh? That's my little nephew Terry.
Mm-hmm.
That's me down there holding up the earth.
Really?
Mr. Atlas.
No.
Yeah. You don't believe it? Because my hair was dark then. It was a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
See, I don't have a fancy body anymore. I got all fat.
It's all right, enjoy it.
I like it.
How did you do this?
It's a collage, and then I photographed the collage to make the card.
Wow.
This is an announcement for my art show.
Did you
Cool, huh?
Oh,
did you
nice.
do this?
And that's one of my paintings too, yes.
Wow.
Hey.
Any more around here?
That's crazy, this one.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But
I
it's-
don't even get it.
Well, you know, what's to get? It's just a painting. It's a tree trapped in a piece of ice,
Ice, yes.
and then there's earth. The
Inside
earth floating inside a like glass cube or something, floating in the water.
Because I was thinking, I was asking her, Gloria, what does that mean?
Well,
Because I
maybe-
mean, sometimes they paint that like there's a certain meaning that they wanna like show.
Well, you know, I painted it, and I'm not sure what it means.
Okay.
But
The
it's,
one you-
But it's up to us how you interpret it, right?
yeah, you can interpret it. Maybe it has something to do with global warming, or the ice
Could be.
age, or something.
Could be, yeah.
And then, of course, the tree in there is actually a bonsai tree, which is a kind of a Japanese,
Japanese, yeah, it looks like it.
traditional kind of way of growing very tiny trees.
I got to show you
Wow.
some of my work. Like this is
Oh yes.
this is all real. What do you call them? Made by the animals. They're
Real wool?
Sea animals, right?
yeah. What like
Oh.
they're
Oh, this
one,
one's, yeah, this is sea creatures, you know, like
Yes.
sand dollar.
The colors aren't always
maybe different kinds of
correct,
coral or
but the
something.
colors went
Yeah.
nice.
Oh,
But
let me.
we just hung around.
Oh yes, you tell
Thank
him
you.
about the thing.
Okay.
Very good. So we're in business here, huh?
Yeah.
So you're going to go back to reading some of your, read some more from your notes there.
All right, I'm trying to find out something, to read something here, but I never can understand the writing.
Huh, that's
The
interesting.
baby, when a bit older, asked how we could get his hold detached for the purpose of
His head.
photograph.
From his head detached.
For the, oh, really? Was that what it was all about?
I think he's referring to the picture. He couldn't figure out how I did that.
For the purpose of photographing him. He did not question how Uncle
Come in.
could support
The
him.
med tech said that she's gonna go to a resident and then get her pills ready, and you can pick it up downstairs in the.
Oh, we'll pick it up at the desk. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Oh, who is doing
Oh, we're
this?
just getting ready with your pills for the day so we can go out and go gallivanting.
They were saying somebody was giving?
Well, the person who puts all the medicine together for everybody is working with somebody else right now, and as soon as they're done, they're going to do yours.
I've left out some letters here. Is this your name?
I don't know, what does it say?
The Earth, a window work by David, CHAN blank 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 blank.
I think
Channon.
that's me.
That's you. A luminous silk orb will blank blank sustained by 84,600 cubic somethings of pressurized air.
84,000, probably cubic inches.
Cubic something. Noon to Monday night, September 1980. Everything falls apart. Please keep. October 9th, 10:30. What's 10:30?
Maybe that was October 30th. What? What's so funny?
Do you see this picture?
Yeah, I can see it.
And that's you, right?
Well, on the bottom, the one on the bottom is me.
What about this one up here?
That was Terry when he was a baby.
Oh, and so it says, where'd it go? The baby, when a bit older, asked how we could get his head detached for the purpose of photographing him. He did not question how Uncle could support the planet. Oh, and on the whole thing there, look at that.
I know, he couldn't figure it out.
Wonderful. And that's a window work by David Channon, which isn't finished because some of it got worn out.
Uh-huh.
But there you are. That's a funny, but never throw anything out, for Christ's sake.
Well, you know, it's good
sloppy,
stuff.
but
It's
it's
good
nice.
stuff.
Just a nice little baby. Now, whose baby is it? I wish the hell I knew names, for Christ's sake. I could kill them all for not writing names, including myself. This was 1949. Couldn't be me.
Wait, let me see. Which one's not you?
I don't know.
1949, that,
How old would I have been then? Not very old. But
Let's see.
That's
Oh, I was born in 52.
Oh, see?
So who could that be?
Your oldest brother.
Well, he was born in 1949. But he was already like, he looks like he's like at least a year or two old in that picture.
Maybe not. Then this must be me, is it? Is it possible? Or who
Let's
else
see.
is it?
Hold it up. Let me see. Well, yeah, I think that's you.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, you were pretty cute.
Pretty cute.
Connie says you look like Loretta Young when you were younger.
Oh, well, why not? There's nothing-
Now that you're older, you look like Loretta Old.
Okay. a lot of baby pictures here with no names on them. And they're all falling apart. 3 months old. Oh, they're so cute. Where did all these pictures go?
Well, some of them may have fallen out and they're floating around.
You know, bits of having, let's see, here's, I guess this is,
Show me. Let me see what it looks like. Hold it up. Oh, that's Bob. That's my dad.
which one?
The guy smoking the cigarette down there.
Down there?
This guy here.
Oh, there.
That was
Okay.
your husband.
And what about this guy?
Let me see. That guy is you.
Very nice.
That guy.
All right, but I didn't even know who this was. So you have to tell me who he is. I'll write it down.
That was Robert, and that was your husband. That's my father.
Where's a pen so I can write a note there?
You want it? Here, you want to? Yeah, get your pen. Don't write it on the picture, but write it on the paper.
On the picture, right?
Yeah.
And this is me?
That's you. Look at this. You're both smoking cigarettes. Look at you smoking a cigarette. He's smoking a cigarette. Look, even the baby's smoking a cigarette.
Which baby is that?
That must be Chris. Yes, it's Chris.
Yes.
And this is Bob.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Otherwise,
But I just want to get this on the camera here so you can see. Whoops, we're losing pictures. That's Bob.
is it taking pictures?
Smoking. That's Gloria, smoking. She's smoking. Okay.
Okay, we're finished with that one.
Yeah, we're finished with that one.
What's the next one?
I don't know. What's next?
Nothing. Well,
What, you ran out of
it's-
pictures? There's more
Oh, I
pictures.
could have had more.
There's a lot of pictures in there.
Well, these are just babies who are not very interesting at all. Oh, this is me, young me, looking pretty sloppy and sulky. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Oh, that's better. Oh, good. I heard.
Any more notes in there? Hey, read some of these notes here, because then we can find out the
Okay.
information.
Election Day, 1949, and somebody's baby, my baby, but what?
That would be Chris. Chris was born in 1949. Hold it up. Let me see. Tip it a little bit more. Oh, yeah, there you go. That's Chris.
Put his name down if you're saying it. Does it pick up the sound?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so say it's Chris.
Christopher T.
Okay.
Channon.
Okay, now I can stop?
Yeah, you could write Chris on that page if you want.
Okay. All right, don't know what year. Oh, 1949. Empty. What a sloppy thing. It's all falling apart. More little children. Cute little children. Oh, they're so cute with their little papers. More of them all over the place. We don't need that. This is somebody looking with a baby, and I don't know who the baby is.
Hold it
nor-
up. Let me see.
Nor the adult.
Okay, that looks like Chris, and that must be Terry.
Chris is that much older?
Well, he's the father. He's got to be at least
Oh,
a
he's
little,
the father.
at least
And then-
a little bit older.
And then the child is which one?
Terry.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, then we have all these. We'll slip them in. And I don't know. I'm sure that you had something to do with this. Did you?
Yeah, that was an art. That was a card for an art show that I had.
That was great.
Yeah,
Right,
that was a
it says
good show.
David Chan. The Chan.
Chan
David
dong,
Chan.
dong.
Yeah, there it is. That's great. It's a very nice one, actually.
Hey, thank you.
Then all these babies were a million miles away, but they're not yielding a date. Why don't I put dates and names on them, for Christ's sake? I'm gonna cry, because I can't do nothing right. Oh, look at this. 25 August 1950. Five-year-old, is that possible?
It's entirely possible.
No, it's not 5 years old.
Oh, let me see. Hold it up. tip it.
Did you
Okay, so
Did you make a copy of this particular one?
I have that. I have one of
Okay.
those at home, yeah.
Because you can put another one there.
No, you keep, that's your copy.
Okay.
So let's see, give me some more details here.
We have children playing in the city. In December, really.
Mm-hmm. Show me the picture, hold it up. You gotta hold it up so, like in front of the camera so we can see it. Okay, so that's New York, December 1950. That would be Chris. What's he eating there?
Which one?
In the top left-hand corner. Keep going to the left. Go up.
Huh?
Go up. Go to the left. That one, yeah. What's he eating in that picture?
Oh, a piece of bread or something.
Piece of bread? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. He's looking at his belly. That's Chris there? That's perfectly lovely. You're going to make a picture of him and to show himself?
You know,
Yeah.
I think I
Take it with you.
think I did that. I think I photographed all these photographs.
Yeah? Oh, good.
And so I think I have that. Let's see, what month is
This
this?
is so sloppied up. Rego Park projects out in the sticks,
Mm-hmm.
1951. Oh, I'm glad I kept notes for what it's worth. April 1951 with people in the backyard playing around in the dirt.
Oh yeah, hold it up, let me see. Tilt it a little more like this. Down. Yeah, oh that's okay. Yeah, Rego Park, huh? What's he playing over there by the oil drum, huh?
Maybe.
Huh, good grief.
Oh, that's a big one.
Nice, huh?
I don't know which one this is, but it's one of the modern ones. I mean, look at 1951. So who do we have who's 51 years?
1951, that would still be Chris, because I wasn't born yet.
Yeah, look at that.
But it looks like there's a little girl on the top there. Must have been one of your neighbors.
Maybe. Who knows? I never write anything or do things right, and then they collapse and they get to be dirt. This is Schwarzwood and it disappeared.
Oh, Schwarzwood disappeared?
Whatever picture was on over here, Schwarzwood, right?
Oh, it's probably floating around somewhere.
See what's over here?
Oh, that's Chris.
Really?
Looks like he's getting ready to go for a drive.
Little Chris?
Little Chris.
Oh, you got him?
I got him.
Okay, let's, you're gonna give him all Chris pictures?
I think he has.
Yeah.
I think I made copies of these. But when I get home, I'm gonna check. And if
This
it's
is 1951, 52.
nice,
And here's the baby.
nice,
Okay.
that's nice.
And then, okay, we came, some more children there falling all over the place in the city.
Yeah.
Which baby is this?
Okay, what is that? 52?
I don't know.
Well, go back one page. Let me see. What does it say?
Palmanac, 1953.
Well, then I was born in 52.
So
So the little baby in there would be me.
Right, there you are then.
That's me. Let me see.
Okay.
Let me see. Oh, he's so cute.
Okay, you got it?
But look at Chris with the Davy Crockett hat on. You know something?
Yeah?
Wait. Oh, I'm gonna touch it here.
All right.
I remember that Davy Crockett hat.
Oh, good. Yeah,
That's
it was very
cool.
proper. I mean, proper.
It was popular, right?
Popular, right.
Yeah, very nice.
Oh, that's his hat there, right. And that's him, Chris?
That would be Chris.
Wow. You gonna show him to him?
Sure.
Then here's naked babies.
Really? Ooh, that's nice.
Well, you should see the back ass.
Oh, you see the back? Let me see the ass on the baby. You gotta hold it up right in front of the camera so we can see it.
Hold it up to him.
Oh, I see it now. Oh, baby. And look at all these kids. Oh, that's probably Chris. That must be Chris with his Davy Crockett hat on. And that's probably my little wrinkly butt. That's my butt.
I can't see it from here. But
I can see it.
Can I look at it now?
Yeah, now you can see
Okay.
it.
Oh, that's you with the
That's
butt?
my wrinkly butt.
And who are all these little children?
I guess they're neighbors, neighborhood kids.
I don't know, who knows?
Isn't that great?
Great stuff all over the place. Here's another kid
Uh-huh.
and two kids.
Yeah.
And then nobody puts any names on like.
Oh wait, here's some info. What does it say?
It says nothing.
On the next page. Let me see. Two kids, don't rip it out.
No, I was looking.
That would be me and Chris.
These two guys?
Yeah, that's me and Chris. Here, write it down. Chris and Dave.
Oh, how nice.
Ratzinger.
And who's this guy then?
Let me see. That would have to be Chris.
Oh. Should I put an extra mark on it?
You get exclamation mark? Oh, question mark? No, that's Chris. That's
Okay.
definitely Chris.
Okay.
Has to be Chris.
All right, let's continue then with this here. I borrowed Camille's camera. I was really poor.
Uh-huh.
And when I had to return, this followed. Notice,
What? Let me see.
I borrowed Camellia, my sister's camera. I was really poor, and when I had to return it,
This followed. Let me see. Nothing. What are you, a joker? Oh, look, the rest of the book is empty. Oh, but there are more photographs that come later on. This is just some of the early ones.
Yeah, I'm sure something happens to
What's
it.
that card that's stuck in there?
I was looking, trying to find it. This
What
one?
does that say? Oh, just a piece of newsprint.
Blinking.
Wait, let me see the photos.
I don't know what all it's all about. And this lady's still here. Dutch medley, 6 to 8 inch wieners, 1 pound kale, 4 large or 6 medium potatoes. So what the fuck am I doing with that shit?
I don't know. That doesn't seem to have anything on it that I'm trying to figure out why it's. Oh, it's a recipe for Dutch medley.
Okay.
6 to 8 wieners.
But what all these are, I don't know. The photos. But I have no idea where it came from. This is it. On which side counts. Nothing makes any sense.
This I read this. It doesn't.
Makes
I don't
sense.
recognize any of the names. It's the results of photography prizes. Do you remember any of these people? John Robert Powers, John Adam Knight. This is from City College.
Oh, really?
Do you remember when you went to
No.
City College?
Yeah, vaguely.
So these are people. Maybe you knew one of these people in City College, like
I'll have to look through them and see if there's any.
Arthur Macaulay of Jersey City.
Not likely.
No. Murray Leff.
Never.
How about Emmanuel Kroll?
Not likely.
Henry Schloss? Sidney Bernstein?
Don't know.
Bernard Payson and Cy Harriman, all from Brooklyn College. I don't know. Maybe, these might have been, maybe one of your buddies was in a photo exhibition and you kept the clipping.
I don't know. Neither page is uncut. It's all cut and then slopped. So we will not know what's going on. People at work. I don't know, apparently I had some interest in these, but I don't see why.
Yeah, you must have known some of those people when you were in college. That's the only explanation I can think of.
City College.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, City College. All right. Okay, you're gonna tell me now?
Okay, Chris was my oldest son.
Right.
Was it, or was he like?
Yes, he's the oldest.
I moved in at my father's house near Atlantic City in a period of crisis while waiting, hopefully, for Bob to find work. Bob being my brother.
Yeah, he wasn't a very good breadwinner.
Okay. And an apartment back in New York. Bob was a Bronx boy who made up tales about upper middle class family.
But that's not untrue. His father was a doctor.
No, it was a lie. His mother was a Bronx Jewish, and I think unwed, and discarded by her own family.
Is that right?
No.
Hey, that could be true. However, I met another one of Bob's sons
Yeah,
from an earlier marriage before he married you,
yeah.
and his first wife threw him out because he was no good.
Okay, then I took him.
And then you got him.
I got him right.
Which was lucky for me.
Oh, that's nice.
And,
Because he's smart and all
yeah.
that, sure.
But according to his first son, whose name was Richard,
Yeah. Is he still around?
I haven't talked to him in years and years, but I did meet him once. He came to visit me when I was living downtown.
Oh, that's nice.
According to his son Richard, Richard's mom said that Bob's father was a doctor, which may or may not have been true.
Which may or may not have been true.
But your notes there say that that his mother was unmarried.
He's what?
His mother was unmarried,
Yeah.
according to your notes.
It's possible.
So it could be that, he was the bastard son of a doctor who wasn't never really there for him.
No, very likely.
Which would explain a lot.
Gee, Rita, happy. What does that mean? Anyway, over here it says, we lived for a few months near Atlantic City with my father, who worked as a chef in an Atlantic City fancy hotel. He was happy to have us, never demanded or criticizing. So they were separated, I guess, and came back and forth. Not very good. He had gotten a chef's job after he was 65 in order to get Social Security. Can you believe that, Dave?
I think that was good. That was a good
Yeah.
move.
And he's over 65, and he went and got a paying job in order to get this.
Yeah, he had to get enough years so that he could qualify for Social Security.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good move. That was smart.
And he was 65 when he did it.
Amazing.
The income from it added on to the rentals he got from the house he had got dirt cheap outside Atlantic City. Okay. I'm sorry, my reading is as stumbling as it is.
Hey, it's great.
And so in this place in Atlantic City, he rented the main floors, the basement at ground level. Can you hear this part?
Yeah, he rented the main floors of a house he bought dirt cheap outside of town.
Yeah, and it was across from the main public place that was very Atlantic City kind of place.
The boardwalk?
Yeah, but it was, you could go across some sloppy land and to another section.
Oh, it was like a bridge, a boardwalk or something over a swamp or a wetlands or something?
It was a lot of, yeah. And so it was just outside of Atlantic City, and he rented the main floors. The basement at ground level had ashes from the basement heater, years and years worth, reaching to the ceiling. I'm glad I did.
Unbelievable. Are there photographs in there from Atlantic City?
This must be somebody on the beach.
Yeah. Hey, let's see. Let me put it on the video here.
Okay.
So that's probably you, and who is this?
Which one?
This is a photograph. It's probably, that might be Chris.
Which one? Well, I'm sure there's small.
And that's probably you in there too. Here you go.
Oh, which?
Go back to your reading.
Oh, out on the lake. Didn't we cover all of this?
About the ashes up to the ceiling? That's as far as we got.
Okay. Then it was Jones Beach, July 10th.
Oh, Jones Beach.
50.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then there are pictures of some small child, which is probably not you because you were not young enough to be there. Riverside Drive. Somebody, Chris, do you think these pictures are Chris clopping around here?
1950, that would have to be Chris.
Yeah.
Hey, we got more stories to go here.
My mother had gone to live with or near her relatives in New York. She hoped to patch it up with my father. This was negative. Negated. Just right front.
Negated?
Negated, I guess, but I misspelled it. Her employers, Italian, Bell art actors who lived in Central Park West. She was hired as a live-in maid. We kids had to be left in a nunnery, a nun's orphanage asylum for a year or two. That's us poor little girls.
Oh, just for a year or two?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know, for some reason I thought it was longer, but just, okay. Well, that must have been awful.
Her...
Do you remember at all what it was like when you were in the orphanage?
I'll have to consider about it. It wasn't that bad, I guess, but it was...
Run by nuns?
Yeah, and they were in a place in the middle of New Jersey, in fairly nice places for it, for the nuns. And we went there for, I think, about a year, and then moved.
How old were you at the time? Does it say?
I'll have to find out.
Is there a year?
Did we say when?
I don't recall if you said exactly how old you were at the time.
This says July 50.
Well, that's when you were writing the notes down, but this is from your childhood. You were recalling your childhood.
Okay, so that's not good.
Okay, well, go on.
Okay.
Let's hear some more.
Jones Beach, 1950.
Mm-hmm.
But right now it's 2000 and something, right?
Oh, at least.
But I don't know if Jones Beach would be within that, whatever, who the hell knows. My mother had gone to live with or near her relatives in New York. She hoped to patch it up with my father. This was negotiated, I think, by my, this was negotiated by, meaning the rest of the family, by her oh, that's right, she was, by her employers. My mother got a job separated from her husband. And she must have driven whoever she was working with a mixture of pity for her, but couldn't stand her behavior, because she's always negative. So they went out of their way to turn her loose.
Oh, I see. So he negotiated with your dad so that your mom and dad would move back together again.
Yeah. So she was hired as a live-in maid. We kids had to be left behind. Left in? Oh, in a nun's orphanage. For Christ's sake, why do they do such fucking things with us? Her boss man, Giuseppe Sterni, who is a very interesting man, who was an Italian, I can't talk English. No, not songs, but acting.
He was an actor.
In Italian.
In Italy, he was an actor?
In the United States for Italians, and he was a big man on it.
I see.
And my mother was his maid, and I guess he liked her, but because his wife was a sort of a cranky woman, so God knows what goes on, which we didn't know.
Right.
So this was negotiated by her employers, Italian bell'arte actors who lived in Central Park West. They got, for being fairly uneducated, minimal, like 2 years of school, they hung out with some pretty fancy people.
Yeah.
We kids had to be left in a nun's orphan asylum, in quotes, for a year or two. Her boss was Giuseppe Sterni, who is a very famous actor and director, the Italian director and star of the Italian theater group. They staged the Count of Monte Cristo. I had such a crush on that one.
Your favorite book?
Yeah, among their plays. We saw it free in Italian. So we as young children were learning to understand Italian.
Now wait a minute. This guy Sterni.
Yeah.
Didn't he fondle you? I think you said he used to like get fresh with you.
He might have.
Which would mean you were probably a teenager at the time.
Yeah, probably very. Well, what's the year there?
I don't know. But I'm going to guess you must have been a teenager. Otherwise, there wouldn't be much to fondle.
If we can figure it out.
There wouldn't be anything to grab.
Right. Oh, my mother's bosses negotiated with, I've forgotten all about this shit, with my father to make peace with his wife. So, when they got tired of her because she was a big problem person.
Annoying.
Yeah, and all suffering. So they got back with her husband. I remember he drove my live-in maid of a mother and us 3 girls to Swartzwood, where her father was, my father.
Right.
To Swartzwood, which is a small village outside of Newark in western New York. New Jersey. New Jersey. Right. He drove my live-in maid of a mother and us 3 girls to Swartzwood to negotiate reconciliation at my father's boarding house. That's nice. I'm glad I remembered to write those things down.
Well, whether his motives were selfish or not, at least he was
Yeah.
considerate enough to take you there and
Yeah,
work
right.
it out.
No, definitely.
I bet he probably felt like the right thing was to have the family together, even if your mother was
In which
grouch.
case we were also we were young, but I was the youngest one, and I was big enough to be doing kitchen work, and so so he did.
Oh, I see. So now you're old enough to go to work. You're useful.
But whatever. But he could support us.
Good.
So Mrs. Sterney, her boss. Oh. Her boss left her to negotiate with my father while we hung out on the lawn. Oh, this was when they were going to get together?
Yeah.
The reconciliation at my father's boarding house.
Right.
He drove my live-in maid of a mother and us 3 girls to Swartzwood. Oh, it's a good thing I was writing all that, otherwise I'd forget it all about it.
Mm-hmm.
At my father's boarding house, which was in New Jersey, I guess it was.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Sterney, her boss, left her to negotiate with my father while we hung out on the lawn. I remember sitting in Sterney's lap.
Go on, let's read it. Come on, tell me the story.
Waiting while he squeezed my barely new nipples. I was very bold about it, He did it so I could make a joke out of it and pull away or something, but I never told her or my sister. For all I know, he checked us all out in turn about the
squeezy. Well, okay, so much for being a nice guy.
We went to live in Swartzwood, much more interesting world, after a year in a nunnery. Right, they sent us to a nunnery, obviously. We took baths dressed in a short sleeved petticoat, right, to take a bath. They didn't put a dress on us. And they'd have to be 2 together so that we shouldn't be touching our own bodies while we're washing ourselves.
Oh, so the nuns did the touching.
No, they just sat there and made sure that nobody was touching any fucking thing.
Right. But how do you wash yourself unless you touch your own body? I don't get it.
You just bounce around until you get something wet.
Okay.
2 to a tub, a nun sitting and watching to be sure we did not touch any of our forbidden parts. Oh, I love this. I never thought of myself doing such good coverage. And we learned to lie, that is, to make up sins, to report on our weekly confessions. We have to make lies because we
didn't get anything,
sins.
right?
We didn't have any sins, right? Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I had bad thoughts about my sister. That was my big, etc. for 1 year. Which the priest accepted, yawning and forgiving in God's name. That's nice. Who's Billy J4 and DDK3? I don't know who these are. Marianne, 18 months, that's another one, but who's the one in the middle? Becky, 16. Who are they? Who the hell knows?
Those were friends of yours at...
Well, we must have been
Oh, wait,
sharing.
let me see. Maybe, wait, what does it say? Becky? Billy J, DDK, they must have been friends or neighbors.
Where did you see Becky? No.
Becky at 16
Where?
months.
Where?
Well,
Oh, here.
these were probably your neighbors' kids or friends' kids
so
or
I'm
something.
not sure who it is anyway, but there you are. Pretty children.
Yeah.
Swartzwood was much more liberating. I was, I think, in the 7th grade when we finally settled there, a year in a one-room schoolhouse on Swartswood, in Swartswood, New Jersey, which was a small town, a mile away. So we walked where Joe, my father, gave us rides in bad weather, and then a 6-mile school bus to Newton, New Jersey. So there was, we were in the country, and then you would walk a mile to the village, and the village would then take us to Newton, which was a big town in the area, high school there. So where after we were tested, I was assigned without choice in college prep. My sisters, Camellia, to commercial classes, and Vi got a job in a government job, thanks to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, our permanent president, bless him. That's very interesting. I'd forgotten all about that, how they've moved us around and where we went. So the Republicans passed a powerful law after that to prevent any other Democrats from having more than 2 terms. Because they had a really very powerful and just a good leader. But then they wouldn't let him go on after that. When we finished high school, and with the death of the summer vacations trade, with the arrival of World War II and no gas for traveling during war time, I'm sorry to be such a sloppy reader now.
That's fine.
My mother took us back to New York City near her family, because she was always getting into fights and fusses with her husband, or vice versa. I mean, he didn't have patience with her. Oh, this is a yard. It's near where my aunt had my aunt and uncles who weren't married, but they were hanging together, and my father had a big hunk of farmland, and he bought another piece of land which he let his brother-in-law buy it, so he owned another big chunk of land. And
was that, who was your brother-in-law? Was that Hercules?
Ercole was on my father's side, and with my father, and then my mother was holding on to the other ones who were on the other side. So the 2 families. It wouldn't be
Amerigo.
Huh?
Was it Amerigo?
Amerigo was in the men's side of it.
Men's side.
Where with my father and my uncle Amerigo.
I don't remember any other uncles.
And there were a couple of others, but they were they were pretty. Some of them were quite rich. A couple of them, I don't know how many there were, but several of them were working in the city.
And how did they get their money?
What do you mean?
How did they get their money?
How
did they get so rich? Ratzinger.
This was a time when they had illegal alcohol, and they knew how to sell it.
Beautiful.
So they were really good at it, the good guys. And my father didn't get too good in that, but he was all right. And what's this about? Backyard of Joe's. Oh, they went to see my father, and we went to see my father at Joe's house outside Atlantic City. Because my family kept breaking because my mother couldn't stand it, or they would, back and forth. They had pains in the neck with each other, which they did. I liked my father better than my mother.
Yeah.
We were broke. I and Chris moved in with Joe until Bob got a job and an apartment. ? But where all this was happening, I don't know. Just another little child. What pretty children we had. There's another little chubby child picture. Do we know whose their names are? Because I never put anybody's friggin' names on. I can't stand myself. And here's another little child picture. The bank foreclosed my father's property, so he went and got a job as a chef in Atlantic City. Still a good place for gambling, as it had been during the dry years for illegal liquor. He bought the house outside Atlantic City, dirt cheap, with the basement ceiling, with the basement ceiling high in ashes.
Ceiling high.
Ceiling high in ashes. Yeah, they just piled up a lot of ashes. Anyway, Gina, that's my mother, his unhappy wife, joined us there. There was no joy in their reunion. She used to go back to her family and then split with him and then they'd go back together again, and they'd go back and break up again. She helped shove ashes into neat bundles to dump with the weekly garbage. Where were they getting all of that the ashes that they were? Because they found it in the when they took over some of the land. They found it in this what do you say it called, downstairs? Basement. And so they had to get rid of all the, because and the stuff they had bought, the built apartment they had, or whatever piece of land it was full of all this garbage there, ashes, and that hadn't been emptied. They were, the guy who sold the place just left it there, and until the city got wise and refused to take the ashes. So they used to load.
They would just take it out with the get daily garbage, a little bit at a time.
She helped shovel ashes into neat bundles to dump with the weekly garbage until the city got wise and refused to take the ashes for free. So he had to haul them to the dump by himself. My mother missed her family. She had who weren't married, none of them. One of them was married but had no children. She was the only one of the two who had any children at all, which was a boy who died and 3 children, which I was the third one. And the other sisters and brother were single. They never married anybody, and they were very close together. Until the city got wise and refused to take the ashes for free, so he had to haul them to the dump himself. She helped shovel ashes into neat bundles to dump with the weekly garbage until the city caught up on it. My mother missed her family. They lived not far apart, and my mother's family were very good workers in the city. Not at this part.
Would that be like Beatrice and the other aunts?
Right, and they didn't marry. They were and they were taking care of their younger brother who was had a bad. He lost a leg or something when he was a child. And because it was a terrible way to live anyway.
In a trolley car accident.
Something like that, but whatever. And they were taking care of him, and they never had their own life, and they never let him have a woman around. Because, what woman would want a man who didn't have a leg? And so,
they wanted him for some reason.
For sure. So anyway. So he had to dump all the stuff the ashes to the dump themselves. My mother missed her family and got no joy nor sex from my father, and went back to New York with us, though we still visited him. And I loved him. I loved him more, and her, alas, not at all. Pain in the ass she was. She was condemned to mourn for her firstborn only son, who died before I was born, and whose huge photo in Lord Fauntleroy costume haunted us all over. No, they had pictures all over of him, none of us, but him, of us.
Do you remember his name?
He died very.
But I mean, what his name was.
He must have had a name, but at the moment I don't know.
Okay.
Reminded us that he was smarter, handsomer, more lovable and loved than we would ever be. And then there's a blank there for I missed something. No, be blank. Hey, my stomach at 81 still cramps as I write this. We were
At 81? No, it couldn't be 81. And my stomach at...
Oh,
in 1981,
in
maybe?
1981, that's when, yeah.
Maybe it was 1981.
Oh, yeah. It still cramps as I write this. Oh, so my stomach was cramping. We were always good to the point of great at carrying grudges. My family was terrible that way. Anyway, so here's little children, of whom some are whose, I don't know, house near Atlantic City with little children. Where were the years? Didn't I put the years down? I would kill them. These are photos of Chris. Oh, so I guess I was an adult now because I had children. When their father was unemployed, his first jobs were summer waitering in the Catskills. We went to the outskirts of Atlantic City as World War II was just starting in Europe. And so that ruins a lot of the public stuff that was going on. My mother hoped for a good life with Joe, but missed her family, and anyway got no sex, but a lot of a lot of work living with Joe, my father. I liked him. So, well, they let me work with him because I was a young girl, so I couldn't work in making beds.
Right.
So with the war as an excuse, packed us off to New York City again. Tell me when you get bored.
Oh, I'm not bored at all. I'm interested.
Somehow, as war broke out and me out of high school.
Come in.
Gloria,
Yo?
we're starting a group next door. Will you join us?
What time and what purpose? And
Well, we're gonna just talk about dumbest criminals. Get a little joke laughing today.
oh, I'm sure it's a lot of fun, but we've been doing some other things that
Yeah, I think we're okay. Thank you very much.
I realize you had company.
Oh yes.
we have company.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh yeah, we're doing fine. I think we're just kind of going through the old family album here a little
I
bit.
didn't realize you had, excuse my voice, my allergies.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll probably go out and do a little sightseeing or something this
right.
afternoon.
Oh, good, good, good.
Well, I'm jealous now.
Oh.
Can I join your group?
Sure.
Yeah. Well,
Point.
next time.
Okay, I'll see you later, Gloria.
Okay, dear. Thank you. I don't know who this child is, but I never put anybody's names on.
Does it say a year anywhere on that page?
No, I must have said something.
This one might be Connie.
Maybe, that's true.
What do you think? Does that look like Connie?
Oh, sure, because we have, these are, how did I get this twisted over here? Did I move things around?
Oh, you must have lost your place here. Oh, that's okay. Go on.
Anyway, this one says these are photos of Chris when their father was unemployed. His first jobs were summer waitering in the Catskills.
And then it's probably Chris then.
We went to the outskirts of Atlantic City as World War II was just starting in Europe. My mother hoped for a good life with Joe, but missed her family and anyhow got no sex but a lot of work.
Right.
Living with Joe. Yeah, so she was sort of a lot of suffering.
Yeah.
The suffering type, and so her father, my father,
He wasn't into suffering?
no, he wasn't. So with the war as an excuse, she packed us up to New York City again to stay with her family, who worked in the what do you call it? Where the mostly women, but also men who were sewing clothes right in the middle of Midtown in New York. Somehow, as war broke out, and me out of high school, I went to evening college. Vi was a secretary out of high school. Cam had signed up or been simply into commercial high school. So one of my advantages was they would sort us out. You were smarter, you got into the college things. You smart but not that smart, you go into the high school things, and that kind of work. And if you're having trouble, you get into about not even the 10th grade, and then they let you go.
The government jobs.
Or just work out and get any jobs you can get.
Oh, I see. They just put you out.
Yeah, they encourage you to go. So anyway, I was a secretary out of high school. Cam had signed up on, or been signed into, commercial high school. See, I really got really good breaks. I mean, they were smart, but I was supposedly...
Somebody thought you were a lot smarter than them, I guess, and maybe they were right.
Or maybe I just had better exposure that made me seem,
Right, or maybe you had better grades or whatever it was.
Whatever, anyway. Okay, so what are we up to here? Cam had signed up or been signed up in the commercial, and they IQ'd us and sorted us all out. And I was in college prep in high school. Woohoo! See, they give you choices. You couldn't stay into. My sisters could be commercial high school because they were females.
Right.
If you were a man, you could get another different kind of lower down thing. But I was a little bit smarter, so I got the better jobs, full classes. And sorted us all out. I was in college prep in high school, not knowing what the what the fuck that meant, and the high school didn't care if your family had the cost of college in rural New Jersey or not. You passed the test and got sorted out for life. That's fascinating.
I think that's how they do it in England.
Yeah.
They still track people like that. You don't get to go to college unless you pass a certain test.
That's good.
Well, I guess here it's if you can afford it, I guess.
And here we are with little baby here somewhere. August 1950. Chris Seps. Doesn't give a name with it, but...
That would be Chris.
Yeah, Chris. Okay. He would hold himself up at the waist.
At the what?
At the waist. He walks around holding himself up at the waist so he shouldn't fall down. Pretty little boy. Okay. Atlantic City Beach went with Connie.
Mm-hmm.
They were visiting in 1950. And here's some more children playing in the water. Atlantic City, more water. Hugging children. And Cam hugging one of my babies. Mm-hmm. After high school, parents split. The government had foreclosed on our 160-acre farm, boarding house, hotel on Swartzwood Lake. Actually, we owned the swamp across the road and an acre or more of beach on the lake side. Between the boarding house and the lake. It was when you think of it, we didn't see a lot of cash around, but we lived pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. We had waited on tables. My older sisters also stuck with, in good years, 40 rooms to make beds and clear up, while I, as the least competitive or youngest, hung out with my father. The least reliable, competent, or youngest. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So you guys got rid of me. With my father. I don't know how to spell anymore, but I got the healthiest, most interesting, most challenging exposure. Well, my oldest sister, Camellia, who died fairly young, followed my gloomy mother around the house cleaning. Mm. But I hung out with my father, which was a big asset. Mm-hmm. Partly I was smart, but partly it was just...
Well, you probably got along with him better. He probably figured, you had a temperament that was more...
Yeah, more... My mother wanted somebody who would make the beds, and he was supposed to just be taking me around so I wouldn't get lost. Look, there's a bird up there on the roof.
Oh yeah? Let's see.
Right there. Quick.
Oh yes.
Right there.
Pigeon. Okay. Oh, and I just saw a hummingbird too.
Oh really? I didn't see a
hummingbird. Yeah, I just saw him above the tree there.
Oh, I missed him.
Oh, little tiny hummingbird. Cool.
Anyway. So anyway, Vi and Cam were helping with the cleaning. We all three helped cook and wait on table in the summer, and it wasn't a bad life, although very little time to play with our classmates who lived 1 mile or much farther away. We did not miss them. Oh, a lot of writing. I forgot all about this. My mother was gloomy. My father was outgoing and took one around on all his errands. But me, I'd go with him. So I got a much more interesting social education than my sisters did from my mother. My martyr mother.
Uh-huh.
Who all her life, the rest of it, mourned the death of her firstborn, only male child. And she just carried it on, and, we'd have clouds over us all the time.
Do you remember what he died of?
He was very young. It was before I was born. It was I don't know if it was an accident or if it was, I think so. Maybe it'll show up.
That would be tragic. I know a lot of people died of things like pneumonia and, flu and things like that.
Yeah, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Let's see if I have anything here. Well, my martyred mother, who all her life, the rest of it, mourned the death of her firstborn, only male child. Our household saint, in an almost life-sized photograph, to remember, as always, that we could never measure up, at least not to my mother's standards. So,
well, that stinks.
yeah, they had a horrible. Well, he was young. He died of something. I forget what it was, and the three of us were all females.
Oh, forget it.
So forget it. My father, true innkeeper, always let me follow him around everywhere. See, I got a lot of advantages from being smart but young, so they couldn't.
Well, much more stimulating
Yeah, right.
to go out into the world and do things.
With him, sure.
Yeah.
While my sister stayed home and emptied the piss pots left under the bed of the summer guests, I got the best of it, for which I am still most grateful. I was, that is, brought up within limits and with interruptions in a man's world. I mourn him still, if not often enough. That's my father. Yeah. And my mother was a sufferer. My father was much more of a man of the world. He was, so that's the end of that. That was a good book. Where'd it go?
Hey, it's a good book.
Yeah,
That's a good book.
that's a good book.
That's a good book. Well, it's like a little. It's a short but informative family history.
Yeah,
You know, I'm sure there's many details that that you didn't write down, but
roughly.
a lot of that stuff's very interesting and very interesting to remember.
Yeah. I'm not sure who that is. Let me see if it says a name on it. I think it was Connie's husband. Oh, not sure. It's possible.
Oh yeah, that looks like Z.
Yeah, okay.
I recognize those forearms.
Forearms? Oh,
Yeah,
good.
he's got arms like Popeye. You know.
Oh, good. Big ones, huh?
Yeah, big muscles.
Oh, good. Well, so that covers most of this junk.
Hey, that covers that. What do you say? You feel like getting out into the world and
I gotta go to the bathroom first, but then we can always try to see if we can find any more life, but who knows.
hey, we'll go out and have some fun.
Yeah.